Hey, what's up, everybody? Grant Baldwin here. Welcome to the Booked and Paid to Speak live workshop. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We are indeed live. We've got a lot of people who are registered, a lot of people who are joining us from literally all over the world. So really do appreciate you taking part of your day to come hang out with us. So go ahead. First of all, before we get started here in just a couple minutes, right at the top of the hour, I always like to find out who is here, who's joining us, where you're from, what you're up to. So go ahead and drop in the chat who you are and where you're from so we can say hey to you. And like I said, we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. Before we do, also, I want to make sure that everything is coming through loud and clear. So if you would, go ahead and let me know in the chat if you can hear and see everything okay as well. So just drop that in the chat. Let me know if everything is coming through loud and clear for you. And again, once again, just let us know if you can hear and see everything all right, and who you are and where you are from. All right, people starting to come in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to have all of you here with us. Hope you've had a great day. I'm here in Nashville, just south of town, in the Thompson Station area, if you know where that is. That's where home is. And I've had a good day. It's been a solid Monday. We're closing in on Christmas and the holidays. Going to take some time off to catch our breath. So that's always good. People continuing to come in, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here with us. Again, go ahead and drop in the chat who you are, where you're from, so we can say hey to you. And like I said, we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes right at the top of the hour. All right, so we got Adam from North Carolina, moved from SoCal. Vanessa is here. We've got Brett is here in Virginia, Morgan in Columbia, South Carolina. Vanessa's in the D.C. area. Someone was in Nashville for WordCamp last week, and awesome. We got Kenny and Cheyenne. I've actually spoken Cheyenne several times. Uriah in Texas. Tom in West Central Indiana. James is in Cincinnati. Terry is here in Houston. Mary Kate in the suburbs of Boston. Kate in Greenville, South Carolina. Brenda in Arkansas. Jenny in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Jenny, we are neighbors. I'm in Thompson Station, right next door to you. Osmani in Miami. We got someone else here from South Africa. We got Casey in Portland, Melvin in Austin, Ryan in Orange County. Let's see here. $5 Bakery was amazing. It is pretty legit. It's pretty solid. Chelsea in Culver City, Crystal in Vegas. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So good to have all of you here with us. Here's one of the things we're going to do here. Before we get started here, just a couple minutes right at the top of the hour. If you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to get a drink, if you need to put the kids to bed, whatever you need to do, want to make sure that you are locked in, that you are dialed in, and that you are ready to go. Now, before we jump in, I want to make sure that we hit on what you're here for. So if you would do this for me, go ahead and drop in the chat. Let me know, what's your biggest challenge with your speaking business right now? What's your biggest challenge with your speaking business? I guess another way you can think about it is, why are you here? Like, of all the things that you could be doing, you decided to be here. My guess is that there's some gap in your speaking business that you're trying to close, trying to improve on, trying to get better. So just let me know in the chat, why is it that you're here? What's your biggest challenge with your speaking business that you're looking for help with? All right. So we got Jack in Alabama, Kathy in Florida, Catrice in Atlanta, Vance in San Diego, Angel in Orange Park, Florida. All right, getting started to first gig. Vanessa getting started to getting paid gigs. Shauna in Utah's here. Angel wanting to learn how to get that first paid speaking gig. James, trouble with getting started. Awesome. All of you, you have come to the right place. If you are brand new or if you're a veteran, been doing this for a little while, and you're just trying to figure out what those next steps are, we are going to give you a step-by-step plan on exactly what you need to do on how to find and book paid speaking engagements. All right? You've come to the right place. Let's see here. Laura, finding the right gigs. Ken said, I'm a pastor trying to reach out with respect to influence. Want to start reaching out locally and nationally. Morgan, getting started. Janice from Buffalo. You had a little bit of snow up there, didn't you, Janice? Robin in Louisiana, how to market your speaking. Starting to charge, starting for a fee as well. How to start speaking with no previous videos and speaking experience. Cool. Celine from Ontario. Looking for plan to start speaking. April here. Ashley in Newport, Rhode Island. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Again, so honored that you guys are here. Appreciate you hanging out with us. All right, I got right at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. If you're ready, go ahead and drop in the chat. I'm ready. I want to make sure you are alive and well and that you are good to go. We ready to get after it? Ready to get started? All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen with you. And so it's going to go blank here just for a second, and we'll pull back up here and jump right in. Once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here today. Glad you're hanging out with us. Again, go ahead and drop in the chat. Let me know if you can hear and see this all right. Want to make sure that everything is happening. Can you see my screen? Make sure that that's coming through. Make sure you can still hear everything. A lot of you are already very chatty in the chat, which is good. We like that. We want that to keep happening. All right. So once again, let me just test you. Let me make sure you're good. So if you're ready, just type in the chat. I'm ready. Type in buckle up. Type in let's do this. Something like that. I want to make sure that you are you're alive and well as we dig into it here. Now, I got a little exercise for you I want you to do. If you haven't done this already, we'd love for you to do this. Swing by and check out myspeakerfee.com. Myspeakerfee.com. Do it real quick. It's going to take you about 30 seconds, and it'll tell you exactly how much you should be charging as a speaker. All right, so we're going to dig into this more in a little bit, but go ahead and do this if you haven't already. Myspeakerfee.com. Take about 30 seconds to complete this, and we'll get back to it here in a few. So once you've got your number, I want you to hold on to that. All right. Now, I also got another favor to ask of you. My favor is that you would be fully present, that you would be dialed in, that you would be locked in, that you would be focused. Because the reality is what we're going to be covering here today can really have a huge, significant impact on your life. And I don't want you to miss a single crucial piece of what we're talking about. All right. So turn off Facebook, turn off the TV, tell the kids to leave you alone for a little bit, lock yourself in a room where you can be dialed in and focused. I want you to be fully present. So if you are fully present, if you're ready to go, I want you to type in the chat, type in fully present. Just type that in the chat. Type in fully present. Now, if you got a question as we go, feel free to drop that in the chat. Myself and our team will try to get to as many of those questions as possible. And then at the end of our time today, we'll be doing some Q&A as well. So make sure you stick around for that. Now, just for joining us, just for showing up here, I've got another bonus for you. I want to give you free access to a new tool that we released recently called Agent. All right. You can check it out over at myspeakingagent.com, myspeakingagent.com. It'll help you to find a speaking gig in 30 seconds. All right. So we're going to give you a full plan, but if you want another just free tool, free resource, make sure you check out Agent again by swinging by myspeakingagent.com. Just bookmark that and you can check it out later, fool around with it later. Now, also stick around to the end. I got some bonuses I want to hook you up with. First of all, we're going to be talking primarily about the business of speaking. How do you actually find and book speaking engagements? And so we have put together a free bonus training we're going to give you on how to create a killer talk. And one thing we'll touch on today is that your best marketing is showing up and doing a great presentation, doing a great talk. And so we're going to cover that in this bonus training on how to create a killer talk. So make sure you stick around to the end to get that. Also, we're going to give you we're going to talk about the importance of having a speaker website. At the end, we're going to give you a speaker website checklist plus 10 of the top speaker websites. So again, make sure you stick around for that. And then finally, we're going to give you a link to today's slides. I know I talk fast. I'm going to go through slides fast. Oftentimes people are like, whoa, wait, can you go back? Wait, what did you say? Just stick around to the end. If you miss something, just know I will give you a link to download all of this free goodness. Sound good? That work? All right. Now I'm curious. Let me know if any of these things sound like you. All right. Maybe for you, you're here because you're saying, hey, I'm having trouble finding speaking engagements, or I don't know how to connect with decision makers, or I'm not sure how much to charge. Am I good enough to be a speaker? Do I have the confidence to be on stage? What if I'm not an expert? Do I need some special qualifications to be a speaker? And can I actually do this? How many of these are things that you have said or wondered before? So here's what I want to do. I want to put up a poll for you. I'm going to put this poll up. It's going to pop up on your right side there. And I want you just to let me know. How many of these things sound like you, or have you said or wondered before? None of these, a few of these, all of the above. Maybe you're like, yes, this is exactly me. In fact, go ahead and maybe drop in the chat. Let us know which of these most resonate with you. Which of these is maybe why you are here right now. Go ahead and drop that in the chat there. Now, if these things sound familiar, then you are in the right place. There's a lot of people who are joining us here, and all feel very similar to where you are at right now. Now, on this training, we're going to be covering several things. First of all, we're going to be talking about the Speaker Success Roadmap, all right? This is a 5-step process that we're going to walk through on exactly how to find and book speaking engagements and ultimately how to build your speaking business. We're also going to cover 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true, okay? We're going to bust these right out of the gate here in just a second. We're going to cover 3 speaking markets to choose from. One thing I'm going to give you a little preview on is that speaks to anybody and everybody. You have to be really, really clear about who it is that you want to speak to. So we're going to be covering that and going through that today. We're also going to give you 3 secrets that you need to know that will give you massive confidence when finding speaking gigs. All right. So if you're going, hey, I'm a decent speaker, but I have no idea how to actually find a gig, we are going to be covering that. We're going to be going through that today. And then finally, we're going to talk about 10 ways to get paid beyond just speaking on stage. So oftentimes we think of speaking as you went, you spoke, you got a check, you didn't get a check, and that's kind of the end of the transaction. The reality is there's a lot of ways to use speaking to get paid beyond the stage. And so we're going to cover that as well. Now, what makes this training different? Well, this is based on real world results. This isn't based on theories or ideas or just nice thoughts or random opinions. This is based on real world results. Not only has this made a huge difference in my own life, but we have worked with literally thousands of speakers from all over the world, literally 16 different countries that we've worked with speakers in, primarily through our premium training program called Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, this is something I'll mention to you at the end of our time. We're going to give you a lot of free training today, but if you're looking for some additional coaching, some additional help, some additional support in finding and booking those speaking engagements, then we're going to cover this in a little while. Now, since we're going to be spending some time together, let me give you the quick nutshell on how I got into speaking. So I'm actually married to my high school sweetheart. Oh, isn't that precious? Go ahead and throw in an that's precious, that's sweet. I don't know, throw something in there. We actually, when we got married, she's actually 2 years older than me. Actually, when we met, I was a freshman in high school. She was a junior. Oh, what's up now, huh? That's kind of scandalous. So we got married. We've been together for nearly 21 years now, and have, as you can see in the pictures here, we have 3 beautiful girls. It's me and a house full of women, which is awesome. I absolutely love it. I love speaking. I love travel. I love adventure, but I love my family. And so my career actually started as a youth pastor. I went to Bible college and thought that was really, and got into speaking in the church world and thought that was really what I wanted to do with my life as a youth pastor. And there are parts of it I liked, parts of it I didn't like. But one thing I knew that I really enjoyed, one thing I felt like I was really good at was speaking. And so I wanted to pursue a career as a speaker, and I really had no idea where to begin. And here's how I felt. Maybe you can relate to this. I felt like I had the potential, but I needed the plan. I had the potential, but I needed the plan. How many of you would say that that describes you right now? If that's you, just type that in the chat. Just type in, that's me. Just type in, that's me. This is exactly how I felt. I felt like I had the potential. I felt like I could be a decent speaker. I just had no idea what to do next. You know you can do this, but you just don't know where to start. You just don't know what you don't know. And so one of the first things that I did is that I knew if I was going to be serious about my speaking business, that I had to invest in myself. I had to invest in my business. I had to connect with people who were where I wanted to be. And so one of the first things that I did was I invested $999 to attend this youth speaker boot camp. Now, as a former youth pastor, I got started speaking primarily to high school students, to college students, to parents, to teachers. Since then, I've evolved where I speak to corporations, to entrepreneurs, different associations and groups. But by investing in my business, I was able to connect with someone who is where I wanted to be. They were able to show me the plan for how to build and grow my speaking business. And so I invested in my business here, this $999. And I think you're going to be amazed here in just a second here. I'm going to show you how quickly I got a return on that investment. And so within about 2 months, I booked and spoke at my very first paid speaking engagement. I'll show you some pictures here. I spoke to a group of about 300 students for about 45 minutes or so. And I got a question for you. I'm going to put up another poll for you. How much do you think I was paid for that very first presentation? How much do you think I was paid for that very first keynote? What do you think? Nothing? $100, $500, $1,000, more than $1,000? Maybe they patted me on the head. Maybe they gave me an attaboy. Maybe they just paid me, some gas money or something like that. How much do you think I was paid for that very first presentation? Lots of guesses coming in. You ready for this? $1,000. $1,000 for that very first paid speaking engagement. Now, to me, this was absolutely mind-boggling. So I'm curious for you, how many of you would you would be thrilled if you got paid $1,000 to speak? How many of you would be thrilled if you got paid $1,000 to speak? That would be a really good day, right? And so this began for me an amazing career of being able to speak, to make a difference, to travel, and to make a great living for myself and for my family. Since then, I've gone on to speak at some amazing conferences and events literally all over the world. I spoke to literally thousands and thousands of people, and speaking has really had a huge impact on my life. And so let me share that with you real quick. I want to share with you how learning to get booked and paid to speak changed my business. Since starting my speaking career, I've earned over $2 million from speaking. I've had over 500 paid speaking engagements, given over 750 live presentations, 46 U.S. states that I've spoken in. I've spoken to over 500,000 people live. 13,000 was the biggest audience that I keynoted an event for. And I've also sold over 30,000 copies, physical copies of my self-published book. Now, I stress physical copies, so we're not talking like Kindle versions or PDFs or anything like that, but actual physical copies. And so these things are nice, but to me, they represent more than just numbers. They represent the lives that I've been able to impact, and maybe even bigger than that, it represents how it has impacted and changed my own life. And so this is how learning to get booked and paid to speak has changed my business. Let me share with you how learning to get booked and paid to speak has changed my life. I told you earlier, my family and we love travel. We love adventure. This is us recently playing with some dolphins at Discovery Cove in Orlando. This is us also in Orlando at Disney World, at the Magic Kingdom. This is us up in New York City, just goofing off in the middle of the street there, it looks like. And then this is us. Actually, we're in the process of building our dream house. And so we are in the thick of that. It's been a lot of fun. And you can see my crazy girls there standing on the mountaintop, as what it would appear to them. And so, yeah, like, again, learning to get booked and paid to speak has made a difference in my business, but ultimately it's made a huge difference in my life, in my marriage, and with my family, and in my role as a dad with my 3 daughters. And so I got a question for you. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? This is not a rhetorical question. I want you to actually put it in the chat. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Maybe for you, it'd be able to travel. Maybe it'd be to quit your job. Maybe for you, it would be to pay off debt. Maybe for you, it'd be allow you to work from home or to spend more time with your family. Again, go ahead and drop it in the chat. There's no right or wrong answer here. Everybody has a different answer here. Lots of answers coming in the chat right now. But for you, what would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Like, what if this was you? Like, why can't that be you up there on stage? One of the things that we firmly believe at the Speaker Lab is we believe that your message is worth sharing. Your message is worth sharing. But let me give you a caveat here, all right? Let me be super clear. If you think that this will be easy, or you won't have to put in the work, or that speaking is some type of get-rich-quick scheme, or you don't care about actually helping people, if you believe any of those things, then do us all a favor and leave now. All right. The reality is that you can make a huge impact. You can make a great living from speaking. You can make a massive difference in the world, but it does require work. It does require effort. And so also know this, that today is only the beginning. We are literally just scratching the surface. I'll give you a quick example here. When my wife and I first got married, my wife had gone to cosmetology school to learn how to cut hair. Now, as you can see in the picture there, I don't have any hair. She trims it off for me every few days or so. And aren't we just so precious there? Don't we just look so cute? So she buzzes my hair off. And so I didn't realize this, but when she went to cosmetology school, she had to go to school for 1,500 hours to learn how to cut hair and style hair and how to basically run a salon. 1,500 hours of training. So all that to say, can we agree that 1 hour of speaker training is just a starting point? Can we agree that 1 hour of speaker training is just a starting point? If you agree, just type that in the chat. I agree. Just type in the chat. I agree. We are just scratching the surface. We are just getting started. So know this, that this is your first step towards a lifelong journey of speaking. You ready to start your journey? If you're ready, just type that in the chat. Type in, I'm ready. Type in, let's do this. Let me know how you're doing. I want to make sure you're alive. I want to keep chatting. Because here's the deal. Anytime I go speak somewhere, I'm used to being able to see the audience. I can see how they're reacting, see how they're responding. And I like to make sure that I keep them engaged. And so in this context, I can't see you. And so I heavily rely on the chat. So make sure that you keep dropping in the chat. Let us know how you're doing. Make sure you're alive and well. We're going to continue to touch base with you like this throughout the training. All right. Now, as we get in here, there are two types of speakers here. All right. There's the dabbler and the action taker. There's going to be people who will go through this entire training, and by the end of it, they're like, that's nice. And then they just don't do anything with it. They'll continue to kick the tires. They'll continue to wonder if they have what it takes. They'll continue to just dig around and flounder around and never really take action. And then there are those who will take action. Those are the action takers. And they're the ones that say, no, I'm serious about making a difference. I'm serious about making a living. I'm serious about using my message to make an impact in the world and make a difference for my family. So there's the dabblers and the action takers. Which type of speaker are you going to be? Which type of speaker? I want you to commit right now. I want you to commit in the time that we're going to be spending together today. I want you to commit to being the action taker. All right. Okay, let's get into it. We're going to cover 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. Let's just bust these right out of the gate. All right. First myth is this. Number one is that you have to be a world-renowned expert or have a tragic story that you've overcome to be a speaker. Listen, this is not true. All right. Myth number 2, we're going to bust this in a second as well, is you have to be a celebrity or have an existing platform to be a speaker. This is also not true. Number 3 is that you have to be super salesy in order to get speaking engagements. Here's the reality. Check your screen. None of these myths are true. That's why they're called myths, right? So let's talk about what is true. In order to do that, we're going to walk through again what I mentioned to you is the Speaker Success Roadmap. The Speaker Success Roadmap. This is a 5-step roadmap that we're going to walk through that makes the acronym SPEAK, S-P-E-A-K. All right, so let's dig into this. The first part of the Speaker Success Roadmap is for S, to select a problem to solve. So I'm going to go through the roadmap here real quick and just a high level, and then we're going to come back and dig on and dig into each of these on an individual basis. All right, so first one, S, to select a problem to solve. The P is for prepare your talk. The E is for establish yourself as the expert. This is where you're going to put together your marketing resources. The A is for acquire paid speaking gigs, and then the K is for know when to scale, how to take your message beyond the stage. So maybe this is a book, maybe this is coaching, maybe this is an online training program or consulting. There's a lot of different options. So these 5 steps make up the Speaker Success Roadmap, and we're going to walk through these 5 today. Okay, so let's dig into more of these 3 secrets of being a speaker that you need to know. All right. First secret is this. Number 1 is that you don't need to have overcome something tragic in your life to be a speaker. You don't need to have overcome something tragic in your life to be a speaker. Whenever I first got started speaking, I met this guy right here on the screen. I met my friend Josh, and Josh is a phenomenal speaker. He and I have since spoke at several events together. We've become good friends, and Josh has an amazing, crazy, insane story. Josh actually, as a child, had cancer, ended up having a leg amputated, and went on to become a one-legged downhill skier in the Paralympics. And so he tells me this. I hear his story, and I'm just like, I can't compete with that. Like, I'm a normal dude from the Midwest who's had a pretty average life. Like what about the rest of you? How many of these things have happened to you? Have you conquered cancer or climbed Mount Everest or built a multi-million-dollar startup or cured a disease or won a Nobel Peace Prize or competed in the Olympics or had a near-death experience? Have you experienced any of these things? Maybe you have. Let me know in the chat. The reality, though, is most of us haven't experienced these things. But the reality is you don't have to have experienced or accomplished these things in order to be a speaker. Now, the first thing, though, is, let's go back to that S, is that you have to select a problem to solve. You have to select a problem to solve. So how do you identify a problem that you could speak on? So to do that, we're going to walk through what we call the topic trifecta. This is 3 different circles here that make up what you should be speaking on. So the first one is this. The first piece is industry, or who is it that you want to speak to? Who is it that you want to speak to? Now, let me give you the 7 primary speaking industries. All right, we're going to go through these quickly. Okay, so first one, number 1 is corporations. So it could be any type of company, but oftentimes an existing company, small businesses, large businesses, major corporations that bring in outside speakers. Second option is going to be associations. Now, associations is really any type of group that gathers around a common theme or topic. So this could be an association of realtors or insurance agents or doctors or dentists or lawyers, or it could be people who are passionate about pets or moms or homeschool or math. I don't know. It could be any number of things, of people that gather around a certain association or group. Third is going to be faith-based and churches. Number 4 is going to be nonprofits. Number 5 is going to be government and military. Number 6 is colleges and universities. And then number 7 is education. So K through 12. So elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, parents and teachers would fall in there as well. So I'm curious, out of these 7 speaking industries, which one most resonates with you? Which one most resonates with you? Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you can't say everyone. You can't say all of them. That is the incorrect answer. All right? I'm going to go ahead and spoil that for you. So which of these 7 speaking industries most resonates with you? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. Let us know. Again, there's no right or wrong answer, but for you, which one most resonates? Now, again, like I mentioned, you can't speak to everyone. You cannot speak to everyone. If you think you can speak to anyone, you really can speak to no one. So you have to be clear about who it is that you want to speak to. So the first piece, again, first piece is industry. All right, let's go across the second piece here. Second piece that you have to have is interest. Interest. So what is it that you want to speak about? What is it that you want to speak about? And another way to think about this is, assuming you were put in front of your perfect audience to talk about any subject, what would you speak on? Now, remember, like we talked about, that first piece there is to select a problem to solve. So it has to be more than just, well, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I care about. This is what I'm interested in. It's got to be more than that. What problem can you solve? The audience doesn't care what you've experienced. The audience doesn't care about how much you know. They want to know, what's in it for me? How can you solve my problem? How can you help our company? How can you help my marriage? How can you help my kids? How can you help me as an audience member? So what problem can you solve for that audience? What problem can you solve for that audience? Now, if you think you can speak about anything, you really can speak about nothing. So if you say, well, I speak about parenting, and I speak about customer service and sales and leadership and international business and innovation and selling on eBay, it's like you can't speak on all of those things. The other thing to remember is that interest is a two-way street. There's a blend between what you are passionate about and what you are interested in and what the audience actually cares about and what events are actually hiring speakers for. Just because you are passionate about it, just because you are interested in it, just because you are knowledgeable on it, doesn't necessarily mean that there are people that hire speakers to talk about that. Does that make sense? Just because you think it should be a topic that people should care about doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. So you have to be clear about what problem you are solving for an audience. Now, again, go ahead and drop in the chat if you haven't already. A lot of you already have. But go ahead and drop in the chat, what problem can you solve? What do you want to speak about? Well, if you could speak about anything, what is it that you want to speak about? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. The reason I ask you to drop that in the chat is it's helpful to see other people, what they speak on, what they want to talk about. And I think oftentimes it sparks ideas for you of things that you might be able to speak on as well. So does your industry, does your audience actually care about the topic? Do they care about the topic? All right, let's go to the third piece of the topic trifecta. So we've got industry, we have interest. The third piece is integrity. Industry, interest, and integrity. Meaning this, are you qualified to talk about this subject? Are you qualified to talk about this subject? Now, some of you may be thinking, okay, Grant, I'm really interested in talking about this subject, but I'm not an expert. There's people that know more about this than me. So what if I'm not an expert? What do I do in that situation? The reality is you don't have to be the world's greatest expert to talk about something. Okay, I'll give you an example. I know nothing about cars. I'm completely clueless when it comes to cars. What about you? If you are clueless when it comes to cars, just type that in the chat. Just type in clueless. Just type in clueless. I know nothing about cars. So when I take my car to the local mechanic, whoever's working on my car, to me, that person is the expert. Why? Because they know more about cars than I do. Now, does that mean that they're the world's greatest expert on cars? No. I know that. They know that. But remember, I'm not looking for the world's greatest expert. I'm looking for this one person who knows more about cars than I do. To me, that person is the expert. So remember, the same thing is true with the audience. Okay, you don't have to be the world's greatest expert on something to be considered an expert. The audience is looking to you. If you know something slightly more about a subject or topic, they view you as the expert. So oftentimes expertise is really in the eye of the beholder. So we've got these three pieces, the topic trifecta: the industry, the interest, and the integrity. So tell me this, let me know in the chat, where is it as a speaker that you should be? Where is it as a speaker that you should be? When you're figuring out who you speak to, what you speak about, if you're qualified, where do you want to be? Boom, right there in the middle. Right in the middle is where you need to make sure you are positioned, an overlap between who you speak to, what problem you solve, and that you're qualified to talk about that topic. Now, without all three pieces in place, what happens is you have this. If you have the industry, you know who you want to speak to, you're interested in talking about that, but you're not qualified to talk about it, then you would be what we would call a bogus speaker. If you have the interest, you're interested in talking about it, you're qualified to talk about it, but there's nobody that hires speakers to talk about that, you would be what we call a broke speaker. And then the third thing is, if you're qualified to talk about something, there's actually an audience for it, but you're not interested, you don't care, you would be what we call a bored speaker. You have to have all three pieces in place. Now, let me be super clear. Most speakers fail because they're not clear on these three areas. This may be the most important thing, the most important slide I have to show you. Most speakers fail because they're not clear on these three areas. I talk with speakers on a weekly basis to help them in their speaking business, and most of them are having a difficult time because of this. They're not clear on who they speak to, what problem they solve, and they're not qualified to talk about that subject or topic. All right? So it's really important that you get this part right, the topic trifecta. All right, let's keep moving on. Is this helpful so far? Let me know in the chat. Just let me know if this is helpful. If this is helpful, just give me a yes, an oh yeah, heck yeah, oh yeah, I don't know, giddy up, something like that. Just want to make sure you're alive and well, that you're feeling good, that this is helpful, that you're learning something, that we're scratching where you're itching. Everybody good? Okay, let's keep cruising on here. So we've covered the S. Let's get into the P. All right. The P is for prepare your talk. So the nutshell is, once you've been really clear on the problem that you can solve, now the piece comes where you're going to prepare the solution to that problem. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning, we're not really going to dig into this today. So in fact, we actually have a totally separate training program called the Art of Speaking. So I mentioned to you, we have a training program called Booked and Paid to Speak that I'll mention to you in a little while. It's more on the business of speaking. How do you find and book speaking engagements? And so the Art of Speaking, again, totally separate training program, is about how to create and deliver a great talk. And so if you're interested in this, I can give you some more information on it in a little while. But like I said, we're not going to touch too deep on that today. All right, let's keep going here. Ready for speaker secret number 2? If you're ready, just type that in the chat. I'm ready, or keep it coming. Keep it, I don't know, throw something in there. All right, speaker secret number 2 is that you can start booking and getting paid for speaking engagements without, look at your screen, you do not need an existing brand. You do not need a best-selling book. You do not need a blog, a podcast, social media following, name recognition, or online presence. You do not need these things in order to get booked as a speaker. So what you do need to have is the E. You have to establish yourself as the expert. Have to establish yourself as the expert. Now, there's a lot of ways to do that. There's 2 primary resources, 2 primary marketing materials that we recommend that you have. Number 1 is a website, and number 2 is a demo video. So let's talk about both of these. First of all, let's talk about your website. You have to have one. You have to have one. All right. If you don't have a website, you don't exist. So people won't take you seriously if you don't have a website. I'm not talking about a Facebook page. I'm not talking about a LinkedIn profile. You need to have a website dedicated to you. I recommend that you use your name as the domain because you are the brand. You are the product. Actually, fun fact, I had to purchase grantbaldwin.com from another guy named Grant Baldwin, which that was an interesting phone call to make. It was a little confusing. But I actually had to purchase it from him. In fact, having your name as a domain is so important that I actually purchased the domain names for my wife and all 3 of my daughters. And now I'm just squatting on those until they need them someday. And I'm going to sell it back to them at an exorbitant rate. And I'm pretty excited about that. All right, last piece here is make sure you put yourself in the position of the client. What would you want to see on a speaker's website that would give you comfort, give you confidence in wanting to book them? Now, having said that, don't forget to stick around to the end for the free download of 2 things: your speaker website checklist, 6 things every speaker's website should include, plus my top 10 favorite speaker websites. So I'm going to give you both of these free resources at the end of our time, so make sure you stick around for that. Now, if you are someone who's going, okay, I know I need a website, and I am just I'm overwhelmed by technology. I don't know technology that well. I get confused with it easily. We've actually put together a resource that you may be interested in. It's a Speaker Lab WordPress website theme. All right, a website theme that we actually call Podium. Here's a screenshot of it, a couple other screenshots. It's a single page, basically a landing page that has a place for you to put in your video, insert pictures, your topics, testimonials, your social media links, a contact section. All of this we have included inside this theme, again, called Podium. Now, we offer this on our website. You can go check it out over at thespeakerlab.com/store. But actually, at the end of our time, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to actually get this for free. All right. So this is something we sell on the website. But again, like I said, at the end of our time, I'll mention to you how we can get it, how you can potentially get it for free. Now, let's talk about your demo video. Your demo video may be the most important part of your website. Really critically important. Why? Because the demo video is basically the movie trailer to your presentation. Would you ever go see a movie in the theater without having seen the trailer? Probably not. Most people wouldn't do that. We want to get some type of preview. You want to get some type of sense of what the movie's about. Even if I just described it to you, well, it's a cool movie. It's kind of an action movie, and there's some comedy, and there's a little bit of romance in there, and then there's the sci-fi piece to it, and then there's some horror parts. So we'd be like, wait, what? Right? It doesn't make any sense if someone's just describing it. So if you're just trying to tell someone about you as a speaker, well, I'm a good speaker, and I talk about this, and I kind of talk about that, and here's some information. Like, it's like, whoa, I'm not tracking, right? People want to see you actually speaking. So the demo video should be the movie trailer to your presentation. Now, some of you may be thinking, okay, I know I need a demo video, but it feels like this chicken egg scenario. Like, how do I create a demo video if I don't have speaking engagements? And how do I get speaking engagements if I don't have a demo video, all right? Totally understand that. So a couple quick options for you. One option is that you could speak to an empty room. I've seen some people do this. All right. This could work. Another option is that you speak at some local event for free. Maybe you host your own event. And by host your own event, I don't mean like some huge conference. I mean, maybe you find a ballroom, a banquet hall, a classroom, some type of situation and scenario where you would actually speak, and you invite 10 or 15 people to come sit in the room there, and you speak for a couple minutes. Now, as you create your website, as you create your demo video, remember, it's version 1.0. Work with what you've got and improve as you go. Work with what you've got and improve as you go. Now, again, you want to do this with excellence. Every time you do anything, make sure you do it with excellence. Do it to the best of your ability, but work with what you've got and improve as you go. Here's a screenshot from my very first demo video. As you can see, it's very dark. The lighting was horrible. I can tell you that the audio is bad. The acoustics were bad. I spoke to a group of about 30 people or so, and it wasn't an ideal situation, but it worked. And so this is what I had. I worked with what I had and I improved as I went. Today, I have a great demo video that was shot and edited by a guy who's done videos for Tony Robbins, for Richard Branson, for Tim Ferriss. I mean, the guy does amazing work, but that's not what I had in the beginning. What I had was this, me speaking to a room in the dark of about 30 people. So work with what you've got and improve as you go. Now, it's really important that you have your video and website in place before you start marketing. Let's say that you start marketing, you start reaching out to people, and they're interested in hiring you or interested in learning more about you, and they want to see your video and they want to see your website. And you're like, well, I don't have them, or I'm working on them, or they're not ready yet. It's hard to take you seriously at that point. So you want to have these things in place before you start marketing. Also, remember this, that your best marketing tool is a great talk. So like I mentioned earlier, this is why we put together that separate training called the Art of Speaking. Because if you're great at booking the gig, but you suck as a speaker, it's really hard to build a business that way. You want to make sure that as soon as you step on stage, that you deliver an amazing presentation. I mean, think about some of your favorite restaurants, the favorite products that you use, the things that you talk about regularly. It's oftentimes not because the marketing is so great. It's because the product, the restaurant, the experience is so amazing. So that's what you want to create with your talk. Now, also know this, just because you have a website and a video doesn't mean anyone cares. Listen, your mom is thrilled about your website and she's going to tell both of her friends, but that doesn't mean anybody else cares. You want to make sure that now that you've created those resources that we're going to promote it to the world. If you build it, they will not come. If you build it, they will not come. Now, let's do a little movie trivia. Can you name that movie? One of the best sports movies. Go ahead and drop in the chat. Let me know what movie this is. See, this is the mistake that some speakers make is, all right, I got my website, I got my demo video. Now I'm just going to sit back and wait for the phone to ring. Like, it just doesn't work like that. All right. So we've created these resources. We've established ourselves as the expert. Now it's on us to go out and find these potential opportunities, to find these potential speaking gigs. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. All right, so before we get to the next speaker secret number 3, let me check back into the chat. How you guys feeling? Feeling good? Lots of you have guessed Field of Dreams. Well done. You are correct. Nice job. How you doing? We doing well? Doing well? All right, let's keep cruising on. Let's go to the A. All right, so we've gone from select a problem to solve, prepare the talk, establish yourself as the expert again with your website, your demo video, and then the 4th component here is to acquire paid speaking engagements. Now, it's really important that you recognize this is 4th, all right? Oftentimes people are like, yeah, that should be 1st. That's what I came for, right? Do you understand now, though, why it's so important to have the previous 3 pieces in place? Does that make sense? Do you see why you have to be clear on what problem you're solving? You have to be clear on what the solution is that you're going to offer. You have to be clear on having your website, demo video, your marketing materials, your expertise in place. You have to have these in place before you start trying to book paid speaking engagements. Does this make sense? Are you with me? If you're with me, just type in the chat. I'm with you. Okay, so how do we do this? 3rd secret. Number 3, getting bookings is not about being salesy. It's about building relationships and offering a solution to decision makers. All right, look at that screen again. Look at your screen. Hey, you, I'm talking to you. Look at the screen. Getting bookings is not about being salesy. It's about building relationships and offering a solution to decision makers. Now, one of the things that I've found, and one of the things that our students have noticed, is that the best potential clients are those who already book speakers. Best potential clients are those who already book speakers. It is much more difficult to convince an organization or group to book you if they've never booked a speaker before. But if they're used to hiring speakers, they're a lot more likely to be interested in hiring you. Now, having said that, the best places to start are conferences, association events, and other groups already looking for a speaker. Because remember, you're already providing a solution to a problem that they have. You're not trying to convince them to hire a speaker. They're already planning on hiring a speaker. You're just showing them why you are a good solution to their need for a speaker. So one of the ways that you can find speakers or find opportunities is you can actually Google for them. You can Google to find opportunities. So one way to do this is you can use either the audience keyword or the topic keyword, and then you add in keywords like conference or convention, association, group, club, event. And so let me show you exactly how to do this. I'm going to use a random example. I'm going to use the example of knitting. All right, let's say you're a knitting speaker. What I would recommend is that you go on Google and that you would look for things like knitting conference, knitting association, knitting event. I'll look up this up by state or region or province or territory. I'll look up other speakers who talk about knitting as well. And so I actually did that. I plugged in knitting into the Google machine and look what we found. 888,000 results. We have Knitters Review, a calendar of knitting events. We have the Knitting Guild Association. We have Stitches events, Knitting Universe, Vogue Knitting Live, the ultimate knitting event. We have this knitting and quilting retreat at the bottom there. So let me ask you this. Do you think that these organizations, these groups, these conferences, these events, do you think that they are looking for speakers to talk about knitting? Yes or no? What do you think? Do you think if you were a speaker who spoke on the subject or topic of knitting that you would be a good fit, that you would be providing a solution to the problem that they have? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Of course you would, right? Absolutely, that you would be providing that solution, and absolutely they would be looking for speakers like you. Now, another bonus tip here is to find a few speakers who are doing what you want to do and see what events they are speaking at. So if I'm a knitting speaker, I'm going to figure out what other knitting speakers are out there. What events are they speaking at? What conferences are they a part of? You can do that oftentimes by just digging around their website. In fact, that's something we show you more in depth on how to do that inside Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, once you find opportunities, you want to contact the decision maker. You want to reach out to the decision maker. Don't just assume that they're going to find you. So reach out to them. Be proactive with that. So email is the most effective starting point for communication. Email is the most effective starting point. I don't recommend cold calling. I don't recommend just picking up the phone and dialing people and, hoping it all works out. I don't recommend doing that. So also know this, that remember, this is a relationship business. Do not try to seal the deal on the first date. This is a mistake that a lot of speakers make, is they send some 19 paragraph email about why they're so awesome and why they should be hired to come speak. Like, don't do that. Like, put yourself again in the position of the client. If you got some long email that just went on and on about how great the person was, like, you wouldn't read that. You would delete that, right? So don't do that. Again, remember, this is a relationship business. Now, whenever it comes to, all right, I send an email, what do I say? How do I follow up? How does that work? Let me quickly show you here a resource that we put together. This is a follow-up flowchart that we use inside of our business. So you start at the top and you send an email, and based on whether or not they replied, what they said, what they didn't say, you just work your way through the flowchart. Did they reply? Okay, now here's what you do. Now they do this. Now here's what you do. Okay, they didn't do this. Now here's what you do. It literally removes the guesswork. If you've ever colored by number, that's what this is. All right, it removes all the guesswork. In addition to this, we have email. 16 email templates, 19 pages of emails that we use in our business for reaching out to potential clients. So we actually, let me ask you this. Would either of these be helpful to you? The follow-up flowchart and the 19 pages of emails? Would those be beneficial to you? Would those be helpful for you? We actually include both of these inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. So we give you exactly what we send, exactly how we follow up, very turnkey. It's like you can literally copy and paste it. So we remove all of the guesswork for you. One of our students, Justin, said, if you're looking for an effective way to connect with meeting planners, get booked, use Grant's proven email system. Following his advice, I contacted one meeting planner. 2 days later, I was booked to speak at their statewide leadership conference. This works in my business. I know this works with our students' business. And again, we give you exactly what to say and exactly how to follow up and exactly what to do next. So Google is one of the quickest ways to find opportunities. And actually inside Booked and Paid to Speak, we teach 8 more strategies for finding speaking engagements. But for the sake of time, Google works really, really well. It's good low-hanging fruit, and I encourage you to start there. Now, also remember this, that your best marketing is always going to be word of mouth, meaning that if you are a great speaker, but you're a pain in the butt to work with, and by pain in the butt, I don't mean that you're like a prima donna or that you're some type of diva or something, or you demand a jar of red Skittles or anything like that. What I mean is you want to provide a great customer experience for clients. You want to make sure that they have a great experience with you on stage, but also off stage, that you are easy to work with, that you have your act together, that you follow up, that you do what you say you're going to do, that you're simple to work with. That's the part that you really want to make sure that you handle and take care of. And that's, again, a big key piece of what we teach inside Booked and Paid to Speak. All right, let's dig into the money side of this. Show me the money. In fact, let's do this. Once you type that in the chat, type in "show me the money." Maybe let's do some more movie trivia. Can you name this movie? Another great sports movie, another great classic in the sports genre. Name this sports movie. All right, let's jump in here. So first of all, let me say this. You can get paid on your first speaking engagement. Maybe for you, you've never done any, you've done a bunch of free stuff, but you're going, okay, now I'm trying to figure out how to get paid. Okay. There's not any requirement where you have to do thousands of free things before you can get paid. Okay, that's not realistic. You can absolutely get paid on your first engagement. Now, having said that, you don't have to be the best in the world to get paid, but you can't completely suck. If you're like, I've never spoke to anybody before. I live in a van down by the river. Like that, you're probably not going to get paid. But if you're like, hey, I've done some free things here and there, then it's absolutely realistic for you to get paid to speak. Now, how much should you charge to speak? Well, it depends. There's a bunch of different factors that go into it. One is going to be your market. You can charge more in some markets versus others. You can charge more speaking to corporations than you can speaking to nonprofits. You can charge more speaking to colleges than to high school. So your market is going to be a factor. Your experience level is going to be a factor. You typically aren't going to be able to, if you're brand new, you typically won't be able to charge as much as someone who's been doing this for many, many years. And then the third factor is going to be your marketing materials. Whether we like it or not, people judge books by their covers. And so it depends on if your website, your demo video, if they look bad, then it's really hard for people to take you seriously. You just want to make sure that they look sharp, that they look professional. Now, having said that, let me give you some speaker fee ranges. Okay. Again, these are just some ranges, just some ballpark figures for you. If you're in the education, college, news speaker, if you're in nonprofits or the faith-based space, typically most speakers are going to fall between $1,000 and $5,000. If you're an up-and-coming corporate or association speaker, that's typically going to be between $5,000 and $10,000. If you're a professional corporate speaker or association speaker, it's going to be anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. Best-selling authors, athletes, B-list celebrities are $20,000 to $50,000. And then celebrity speakers, it can go from $50,000 way sky high up from there. So there's a huge, huge range. Now, people ask me all the time, Grant, how much should I charge though? What do you think? How much should I charge? So again, this is why we put this together. We put together myspeakerfee.com. All right. If you want to know how much you should charge, go there. It's a free tool. Again, it'll take you 30 seconds. If you haven't gone there already, make sure you go there. Once you get it, you'll answer a couple questions and it'll spit out a number at the end. Once you have that number, I want you to hold on to that. I'm going to ask you for that here in just a couple of minutes. All right. So make sure you get that number and make sure you hold on to it. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the speaker success roadmaps. We've gone from S, select a problem to solve, P, prepare your talk, E, establish yourself as the expert, A, acquire paid speaking gigs, and K, know when to scale. All right, so let's get into that piece. So generating revenue and impact as a speaker isn't limited to just speaking from stage. So in fact, let me give you 10 different ways that you can get paid beyond a speaking fee. So having a book, a curriculum, a product, coaching, consulting, webinars, online training course, train the trainer, advertisements, sponsorships, referrals, all 10 of these are different ways that you can use to generate revenue beyond the stage in your speaking business. All 10 of these are things that I have personally used in my business to get paid for speaking. All right. So I'm curious for you, which of these 10 is most appealing to you? You say, hey, I want to speak. Yes. But these are other ways that I want to share my message. I want to build my business. So go ahead and drop in the chat. Let me know which of these 10 most appeals to you. Maybe a couple of them. Just throw in a number there. Maybe 1, maybe 5, maybe 4. What do you think? Which of these 10 most appeal to you and the type of business that you want to build beyond the stage? Okay, let's recap what all we've covered here. So first of all, number 1 is that you identify a problem that you could speak on. Remember, industry, interest, integrity. Who do you want to speak to? What do you want to speak about? And are you qualified to talk about that? All right, number 2 is position yourself as the expert. This is where you create your website, your demo video. Number 3 is you identify existing events that book speakers. Number 4 is that you contact decision makers. Number 5, that you build, grow, scale your speaking empire. Now, let me be clear. You can take everything we've shown you and you can start taking action on it. You can start seeing results. But at the same time, I realize this. I realize that we have covered a lot, that we've gone through this very quickly. I told you at the beginning I was going to talk fast. I was going to go through slides fast. How many of you feel like this right now? How many of you feel like this? How many of you say, like, that's me? Like, you're talking fast, I'm taking notes, my hand is cramping up, I'm typing fast, and it's just, I'm having a hard time keeping up, but at the same time, it feels good. It feels good. So let me know, how many of you say that this describes you? If that's you, just type in the chat, that's me. Just type in the chat, that's me. Now, I got a question for you. Has this been worth your time so far? Has this been worth your time so far? Because here's the reality. I know you're busy. I know that you spent the past several minutes with us here, and I know that there's other things that you could be doing. And so I want to make sure, so far, everything that we've covered, has this been beneficial to you? Has this been worth your time? Just let me know in the chat. Let me ask you this. What's been your light bulb moment so far? What's been your light bulb moment? What is something where you're just like, I didn't realize that. Now, okay, that makes sense. What's been your light bulb moment? Go ahead and drop that in the chat as well. I'm curious. What's been your light bulb moment? Now, I mentioned to you at the beginning, if you're going to stick around, I was going to give you some free bonuses, and I do not want to disappoint. I'm a man of my word, so here's that link. You can find those bonuses at thespeakerlab.com/BPS download. thespeakerlab.com/BPS download. So make sure you check out how to create a killer talk bonus training, speaker website checklist, 10 of the top speaker websites, plus the link to today's slides. Make sure you grab that. Okay, I want to do a quick exercise here. I want you to picture someone who has a successful speaking business. I want you to picture someone in your mind who has a successful speaking business. You got that person in your mind? You got them? Okay. Now, I want you to picture the opposite. I want you to picture someone who is struggling in their speaking business and not really sure what to do next. I want you to picture that person in your mind as well. All right. You got that person as well? Okay. So what do you think is the difference between the two? What do you think is the difference between the two? Do you think it's a lack of opportunity or a lack of knowledge and support? What do you think it is? A lack of opportunity or a lack of knowledge and support? I put up another poll for you. I'd love you to chime in there. So let's talk about this. So what's the market for speakers? Well, I can tell you this, that over 100 billion with a B, is spent on business meetings and events worldwide, that there's 1.8 million meetings and events that occur each year in the U.S. alone, and that the average speaker income, according to the NSA, the National Speakers Association, average speaker income is $177,000. So it seems like there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of demand that exists. So again, let's come back to the question, what do you feel like is the difference between the two? Is it a lack of opportunity or a lack of knowledge and support? Go ahead and drop that in the chat and let me know. So let me ask you this. Can you do this? It's not a trick question, okay? Because here's the thing. I want to give you a lot of knowledge. I want to give you a lot of step-by-step things that you need to know. But I also want you to leave feeling like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I got this. I can do this. So if, I want to know, can you do this? This is not a rhetorical question. I want you to chime in the chat and let me know, can you do this? Can you make this happen? Let me introduce you to a couple of people just like you. Let me introduce you to Melanie. In less than 4 months of working together, Melanie earned over $10,000 in speaking fees. She landed a $50,000 consulting client. She's booked gigs in London, New Zealand, Vienna, Sweden, and Bulgaria. And then also she quit her corporate job. How many of you have a corporate job that you would like to quit? If so, just type in yes. Just type in yes in the chat there. She sent me this. This is a screenshot from a conference website where she was going to be speaking. You see this, featured speakers up top. You have on one side Gary Vaynerchuk. On the other side, you got Peter Shankman. And right in the middle, you have Melanie. Why? How did she get a gig like this? Because she had a plan for how to find and book speaking engagements. Look at this. She said, I followed Grant's advice from the course, built a relationship with a company that does conferences in several markets. After doing 5 events for them, breakout sessions for 200 to 400 people in their smaller rooms, just found out they put me on the main stage this time, 2,750 seat theater tomorrow. How cool is that? How many of you would like to speak in that room? It's a good looking room right there. If you'd like to speak in there, just type in yes. Type in the yes in the chat. Look at this. She also shared this with me. She said, landing in New Zealand right in time for sunrise for a corporate event. Things like this make all the travel even more worth it. Hope you all have wonderful adventures coming soon too. How many of you would like to go speak internationally? You'd like to go speak in New Zealand? I haven't spoken New Zealand. I've spoken internationally some, but not in New Zealand. How many of you would like to speak there? So just type in yes. Just let me know. Meet Mark. Mark said this in less than a year of working together. Mark earned over $372,000 in new coaching clients as a result of the speaking gigs he's done. So Mark actually uses speaking as lead generation for his coaching business. And so he speaks for free and uses it to generate coaching clients. So today, Mark lives life on his own terms, spends a ton of time with his family. So here on the left, there's a picture of Mark speaking at an event. On the right is a picture of me and Mark at an event that we were both at together. Let me introduce you to Eric. It says, hey, everyone, it's very satisfying to report that I met my speaking goal this year. My goal was to book 45 speaking gigs for a total of $70,000. I'm pleased to report that as of today, I booked 47 gigs this year for a total of $108,000. Thank you, Grant, for helping me with the business side of things. I've also booked 3 gigs for 2018 so far, so momentum is at my back for sure. Life is good. He also mentioned this. He said, hey, Grant, I booked $20,000 worth of speaking gigs the past 2 days. The floodgates are wide open. $20,000 in 2 days. How long does it take you in your job to earn $20,000? Just curious. He said this, living the speaking dream. Thanks for making the course possible, Grant, so guys like me can get over the hump. Let me introduce you to one more person. Let me introduce you to Sue. Sue says, last week I was invited to a vet conference in Ontario next January. They offered her $1,500. I scheduled a call, listened to her, learned about meeting, and then told her my fee was higher. The committee today approved $3,500. Full day of speaking, but so excited. The first time I've negotiated one of the vet conferences. Thank you. I'm learning so much. Look, she earned $2,000 more because we showed her exactly how to negotiate, exactly how to maximize every single gig that she speaks at. She shared this with us recently. This is one of my favorite pictures. She says, I just wrapped up 4 lectures for a veterinary conference in Maui. Sue told me it's been a bucket list dream for her family to be able to go to Maui. And what made it possible for her was speaking. And so you can see in the little profile picture there, it's her husband. She's got 2 boys. Whole family was able to go to Maui. Why? Because she had a plan for how to find and book speaking engagements. So every one of these speakers would tell you that if they can do this, that you can too. They are nothing special. They have no crazy story. They have nothing that you don't have. The only thing that they have is a plan. They have a system for how to find and book paid speaking gigs. Now, we've covered a lot here, but there's still a lot that we haven't even touched on. We haven't talked about how you prepare a memorable message that resonates, or presentation skills when you should and shouldn't use technology or slides. We haven't talked about really, what to charge, how to negotiate. Touched a little on the what to charge piece. We haven't talked a lot about how to network with other speakers. What do you do after you get booked? So if someone contacted you today and said, all right, we're ready to hire you, what would you do? What would you know to do? What would you send them? What would happen next? We haven't talked about travel. Who pays for that? Do I pay for that? Do they pay for that? Who books it? How does that work? We haven't talked about how you transition into a full-time speaking career, which I know many of you are interested in. We haven't talked about creating and selling product or working with speaker bureaus. And so the reality is there's a lot that we've covered, but we can't possibly cover everything. And so if you liked what I gave you for free today, you're going to love the rest of the training. This is why we created Booked and Paid to Speak. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take just the next couple minutes and just quickly walk through what Booked and Paid to Speak is all about, what it includes, and how we can best help and serve you. And so if that's okay, if I have your permission, would you just type in yes? If that's okay for me to just share with you a couple minutes of this, just type in yes in the chat. I'm going to walk through this real quick. And then, like I said, at the end, we're going to do a Q&A for as long as possible. All right? Okay. So Booked and Paid to Speak is a complete A to Z blueprint for creating a system in your speaking business that gets you booked. Boom. That's exactly what it is. All right. Look at your screen. It's a complete A to Z blueprint for creating a system in your speaking business that gets you booked. That's exactly what we do. So here's what you're going to get. First of all, you're going to get a step-by-step video training program, all right? We actually recently updated the training. So it's all new content, all new, fresh, up-to-date material, all right? Step-by-step video training. So if you're going, hey, I have no idea where to even begin, or maybe you're someone who, hey, I've got some experience. I know who I want to speak to. I know what I want to speak about. I even got a website and a demo video. Now I just need help booking the gigs, right? That's all in there. We're going to walk you through from beginning to end. We're going to hold your hand through the process. So what does the course teach? We teach the Speaker Success Roadmap. We dig into this in depth. So the selecting a problem to solve, preparing your talk, establishing yourself as the expert, acquiring paid speaking gigs, and knowing when to scale. We will walk through this entire sequence inside the Speaker Success Roadmap. So maybe you're going, all right, I'm interested, but what exactly will I learn from this? Well, let me give you some bullet points here. We're going to help you get really clear on which industry you should speak to. We're going to help you know which topics clients and event planners are hiring speakers for. Like I mentioned, just because you want to talk on a topic, just because you feel like you can solve a problem, doesn't mean that that's something that event planners or clients are actually looking for. So we're going to help you get clear on that. We're going to go over the speaking industry matrix, which industries pay the most versus which are easiest to break into. We're going to talk about how to create and structure your presentation, how to deliver a great talk that generates repeat and referral business. Referral business and repeat business is one of the biggest sources of bookings for a lot of speakers. So we're going to walk that through in depth. We're going to show you exactly how to create your website and demo video and establish your online brand, how to price yourself as a speaker, how and when to negotiate to earn more, plus a look at my own speaking fee structures. We're also going to talk about how to sell yourself to a client, even if you hate selling, all right? It's not selling, all right? So let me just, like I mentioned, you don't have to be salesy. Let me debunk that myth. All right, we're going to walk you through exactly how to do that. In fact, we're going to let you listen in to a call that I had with a potential client. So you can hear, I'm not selling, I'm learning about their event, I'm learning about them. And so you literally get the eavesdrop on that conversation. We're also going to show you how to find more speaking opportunities that are right for you. All right. So what else will you learn? We're going to show you exactly what to do after you get booked to create a great experience for the client. So they want to refer you. They want to work with you again in the future. We're going to talk about dealing with finances, taxes, business structures as a speaker. Should I be a sole proprietor? Should I be an LLC? Should I be a corporation? What do I need to do? We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about listen in on that actual sales call recording that I mentioned to learn how to build rapport with a client, what questions to ask, how to talk fees, and ultimately how to close the deal. We're going to talk about how and when to hire staff, travel tips, strategies for speakers. You're going to be traveling a lot. We're going to help you with that, okay? We're going to talk about how to transition to being a full-time speaker and how to work with speaker bureaus and whether or not you should, okay? So we're going to dig into all of this. So talk to me in the chat. Does this look like it would be helpful? Does this look like what you're looking for, what you need right now to help you build and grow your speaking business? So check this out. In addition to the video training program, the step-by-step video training program, you're also going to get the Booked and Paid to Speak community. Now, you're going to get 3 months included with this. It's going to be a couple different things. You're going to get a private discussion group. This is a private Facebook group where we have, at this moment, nearly 1,000 speakers that are in there on a daily basis who are in there answering questions, providing feedback, providing support. This is one of my favorite parts of Booked and Paid to Speak is this private discussion group. You're also going to get monthly live Q&A calls. So every single month, myself and our team, we do a live Q&A call to answer any and all questions. We're on there for an hour just answering all your questions. Plus, you can go back in the archives. So the past several months of these calls that we've done, you can go back and listen to all of those. You get all of that benefit as well. Plus, you're going to get to network with other speakers. Every day I'm talking with speakers who are going, hey, actually just earlier I was talking with a speaker who said, hey, I want to speak on the topic of human resources. Who do you know? And I was able to say, hey, inside the private Facebook group, here's a couple speakers that you should connect with that are doing something similar. So this happens very frequently where you can connect with other speakers doing something similar to what you want to do. So we want to make sure that you have the resources and support that you need to be successful. We want to do everything we possibly can to ensure you are successful. So let me walk through what all you're going to get and what that means. So first of all, again, you're going to get the Booked and Paid to Speak, the 2.0 video training program. This is a step-by-step video training program. It's all online. It's all web-based. You don't have to wait for us to send you or ship you anything. You can literally jump right in right now and start taking action on the course materials. You're also going to get 3 months of the private discussion group and the Q&A calls. You're going to get the first bonus here. I'm going to give you several bonuses, but the first bonus is you're going to get unlimited email consulting with our coaches. All right. We have several different Speaker Lab coaches. And basically, if you get stuck, you have questions, you need feedback or support, you send us an email and we will get back with you. Unlimited email consulting. The second bonus is we're going to give you what we call the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault. This is every email, every contract, every checklist, every document we use in our business, we're going to provide for you. So remember I told you about that follow-up flowchart? I showed you the 19 pages of email scripts, my exact speaking contract or speaking writer, our pre-event form, which is about 50 different items that we check to make sure everything's in place before, during, and after the event. We're going to give you all of those documents so that you literally have everything that you need to get started as a speaker. Third bonus we're going to give you is 12 advanced training modules. We know for a lot of you that you're interested in, yes, speaking, but you're also interested in other ways to build and grow your business. So we've done 12 different interviews with 12 different experts on subjects like building an email list, on starting an online course, on writing a book, on publishing and self-publishing, on advanced strategies for finding and booking speaking engagements. So we dig into this with these 12 different experts. And then the fourth bonus here is 12 speaker success stories. We've done interviews with 12 different speakers, new speakers, veteran speakers, some that are members of BPS, some that are not, and just ask them, hey, how have you built your business? What's worked for you? How do you find gigs? How have you priced yourself? We just hear, like, they just pull back the curtain. And so you literally can follow each and every one of them to figure out how you can benefit, how you can grow in your own speaking business as well. So total value here is just under $6,500. We've tried to take everything we possibly could to put this inside of Booked and Paid to Speak to make sure you are successful. Plus, what we're going to do is we want to give you lifetime access to the training materials. All right. So you have lifetime access. All the resources are downloadable. You have PDFs, videos, MP3s, plus quality support. We want to make sure you are successful. I will personally do anything that I can to make sure you are successful as a speaker. So let me ask you a question. If all this did was to bring clarity to your speaking business, to help you know what to do next, would that be worth it to you? If all this did was to help you be more confident when quoting your fees, would it be worth it to you? If all this did was to help you to know how to get started and have a step-by-step plan, would that be worth it to you? If all this did was to provide the support and the accountability that you needed, the kick in the pants that you needed to build and grow your speaking business, would it be worth it to you? Like, what's a successful speaking business even worth to you? Have you thought about it? Like, what is a successful speaking business worth to you? Like, what does that provide to you in terms of freedom? Would that allow you to quit your job? Would that allow you to be home with your family more? Would that allow you to travel more? Would that allow you to pay off your debt? What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Here's one of our students, Thomas, said, it's like you sat down, made a video course answering every question I ever had about speaking. Just booked my first gig for $2,800. $2,800 for his very first gig. Look at this. Tom said, big win. I purchased Grant's Booked and Paid to Speak program 1 month ago. Just booked my first state conference gig just now for 2.5 times what I paid for Grant's program. Thanks, Grant. Your program is a no-brainer for anyone who wants to get paid to speak. Look at that. That's one of the great things about speaking is there's a huge potential for ROI. So some of you are like, okay, I'm interested. I want to jump in, but maybe you're on the fence right now, right? What if I could take away all the risk for you? Okay, what if there's literally no risk for you? So here's what we're going to do. Here's my guarantee to you, all right? My guarantee is this, that you take the course for 30 days, do the work, and give an honest effort. If you don't see results or you don't find it's worth it, then I'll give you your money back. It's literally that simple. All we ask is that you give an honest effort. If you say, hey, I gave an honest effort, it's not for me, cool, totally fine. We will give you 100% of your money back. Now, I'm going to take it a step further as well, though. I want to give you a double your investment guarantee. Double your investment guarantee. If you follow the system we teach, you don't at least double your investment within 1 year, we'll just give you your money back. We'll give you 100% of your money back. We know this works if you do the work. But again, you got to do the work. But we know this works if you do the work. Other investments literally take years to earn your money back. With Booked and Paid to Speak, you can earn it back on 1 gig. So let's do the math here real quick. All right, let's say you do 30 gigs at $3,000 each, right? That's $90,000. Let's say you sell 500 books at $20 each. That's $10,000. Let's say you do you have 10 coaching clients paying you $500 a month. That's $60,000. Let's say you have 2 consulting clients paying you $20,000. That's a total of $40,000. Let's say you have 100 sales of your online training program at $500 each. That's $50,000. Total math there is $250,000, right? That's insane. Let's say I'm even half right, right? That's still $125,000. So you can see why this is a good deal even at $5,000. Would you agree? If so, just type in yes. You can see why everything we've done here, if you offer this at $5,000, it'd be a great deal. If you agree, just type in yes. Now, did you get your speaker fee at myspeakerfee.com? So here's what I want to do right now. I told you to go do it, and I want you to post in the chat. Post in the chat how much it was for you. For 1 speaking engagement, what would that be worth to you? I told you to write it down, told you to go figure it out and go and write it down. So just post in the chat. What would it be for you? See several answers coming in. $4,000, $1,200, $1,400. I sound like an auctioneer. I've always wanted to do that, but I can't. All right, lots of you posting numbers in. A big range from a few $1,000s to several $1,000s. All right. So here's what you're going to get. All right. So again, the Booked and Paid to Speak 2.0 video training program, 3 months of private discussion group, the Q&A calls, all the support you possibly need, the unlimited email consulting with the Speaker Lab coaches, the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault, our emails, contracts, checklists, 12 advanced training modules, 12 speaker success stories. So total value there, again, just over $6,400. So again, like I mentioned, you can see why even at $5,000, this would be a great value. A lot of you posting in the chat now. So far, everybody I've seen, I think, is over $1,000 in what they could charge as a speaker. Several of you, several $1,000, $5,000, $4,100, $5,100, $6,000. Awesome. So don't worry, though. We're not going to offer it for $5,000, right? Even though it'd be a good deal at that. Okay, now even at $3,000, again, I think this would be an amazing deal. I think this would be a no-brainer. But again, don't worry. We're not even going to offer it for $3,000. Now, if you go on the Speaker Lab site right now, you can find Booked and Paid to Speak we offer for $14.97. All right, on the site right now, it's for $14.97, which that alone is a great deal. All right, a great deal. But here's what we're going to do. while we're on this webinar, we're going to knock off an additional $500, and you can get booked and paid to speak for just $997. All right, $997 for booked and paid to speak. We wanted to make this, again, an absolute no-brainer for you. I think looking at the chat here, I don't know that anybody who went to myspeakerfee.com got less than $1,000. So you can earn that back on one gig. You saw Tom earlier who said more than 2.5 times what he invested on his first gig. Now, maybe you're like, all right, do you have a payment plan? Yeah, we actually do. So what you can do is you can do $197 a month for just 6 months. All right, $197 a month for just 6 months. You still, as soon as you invest that first $197, you still have access to everything. We don't hold anything back from you. And so you can jump right in for just $197 if you'd like. So if you are ready to jump in, you can go to the right side there where it says join booked and paid to speak now. There's that orange button. You can click here to register, or go to thespeakerlab.com/offer, thespeakerlab.com/offer. Now, I got some additional bonuses I want to throw your way. Are you ready? Can I throw in a couple other things? Can I throw some icing on the cake here? If you're ready, just type in the chat ready, or type in yes. All right, here we go. First webinar only bonus I'm going to give you. If you join now before the webinar ends, okay, we're going to be done here in just a few minutes, but if you join before we end, I'm going to give you a 15-minute one-on-one video call with one of our Speaker Lab coaches. 15-minute one-on-one video call with myself or one of our Speaker Lab coaches. All right. So again, we don't do any one-on-one coaching, but anybody who joins before the webinar's over, before the clock strikes 0 there, you will get a 15-minute one-on-one video call with us. All right. Second, again, that's only for people who join while we're on the training here. The second bonus we're going to offer is if you join before the webinar ends, we're going to give you a website and demo video review. Our team will go through, review your website and video with specific improvements that you can make to increase your bookings immediately. So maybe you're just like, okay, I don't have my website, or I'm working on it. It's going to be ready in a couple of weeks. That's fine. All right. As soon as it's ready, let us know. You can redeem this bonus. Maybe you already have them ready. All right. We will go through your site, give you specific changes of exactly how you can improve your website, your demo video, to help you increase your bookings. All right. So again, this is only a bonus for those who join while we are on the training. Third bonus is this, is if you join before we're done here, I'm going to give you a behind the scenes, kind of a director's cut behind the scenes video of my personal keynote. So this is a keynote I gave recently, and you can see here, I show you the video itself, and then I'm kind of walking through behind the scenes of how I'm interacting with the audience, how I'm thinking through the presentation, how I'm using humor, transitions, intros, outros, telling stories, interacting with the audience, all of that. You're basically going to see inside my brain as I give the presentation. All right. So again, this is a bonus we're going to give just for those who join while we are on this training. All right, the fourth final bonus here. I'm going to throw in one more. This is only a bonus for those who pay in full. All right, so if you do the full pay option, then we're going to give this to you. I remember I mentioned to you, we have the Speaker Lab WordPress website theme, the website template. We offer it on our website for sale right now. But like I said, if you join before our webinar ends here and you pay in full, we will give this to you for free. All right. We currently sell this on the website for $197. You can go pick it up right now if you want to. But again, if you join Booked and Paid to Speak and you pay in full while we're live on the webinar here, then you will get this for free. All right. Boom. Again, we want to do everything we can to make sure you are successful. So if you're like, hey, I don't have a website, I don't have my website ready, that's okay. We're going to give you exactly what you need. This is extremely simple. It's literally like paint by numbers. We're going to make it super simple for you to get your website up and running immediately. One of our students, Jill, said, I spoke for free on Tuesday. Someone who heard me speak reached out to ask me help them re-engage their employees. $9,000 contract signed on Friday for a follow-up workshop and 24 hours of consulting. My first money from speaking. $9,000 contract signed. How great is that? And then look at this. She said the same girl, Jill, said this girl's doing backflips. Today I was selected to speak at the National SHRM Conference in Chicago in April. I just landed my largest keynote speaking engagement, $4,500 to speak for 45 minutes. It's really happening. Thanks, Grant, for teaching me the ropes and everyone who provides such valuable information on this site. $4,500 to speak for 45 minutes. How much is that per minute? Can anyone do that quick math? How much is that per minute? to speak for 45 minutes for $4,500. I know that math is pretty good, right? My math is correct. I think that's $100 per minute. So what results can you expect from Booked and Paid to Speak? One, you can expect to have your marketing materials created within your first 30 days. All right. It's very realistic. You can find the perfect events for you, be 100% confident when contacting them. Number 3 is you can get your first paid booking within 30 to 60 days. It's very realistic if you get after it and do the work that we show you to do. And then number 4, you can prove to yourself and to others that you can actually do this, that you have what it takes. Stop wondering, stop doubting, stop second guessing. Can I be a speaker? Am I good enough? Am I qualified? No. You have what it takes. We want to give you the support, the tools, the resources, the system to do this, to prove to yourself and to prove to those doubters, those people in your life who are going, no, you're not but you can do this. And we want to show you exactly how. We want to give you that you need to prove to yourself and to others that you can do this. Now, who does this work for? Maybe for you, number 1, you're an experienced speaker. You're just looking for more bookings and higher fees. All right. This is for you. Maybe for you, you're a new speaker looking for help to get started. All right. That's fine. This is for you. We're going to help you get started. Number 3, if you want to use speaking to sell your products or services, great. This is for you. If you have an existing brand and you want to speak to gain authority and credibility, perfect. Booked and Paid to Speak is right for you. Now, let's talk about the opposite, who this is not for, all right? If you don't expect to have to do any work, this is not for you. This will work if you do the work, but this is not some type of get-rich-quick scheme, all right? If you think you're going to get rich tomorrow, this is not for you. It's just not for you, all right? Love you. Glad you're here. It's not for you. And number 3, if you're an arrogant, cocky jerk face, this is not for you. All right. We are very intentional and very clear about the people that we want to be in our community and that we want to allow into Booked and Paid to Speak family. So if you're an arrogant, cocky jerk face, I'm assuming you're not. But if you are, you're not allowed. All right. Move on. Rima said this, thank you so much, Grant. Really, all of this is because the guidance you gave us during the course. For the past 3 months, I've been sifting through every article on the internet, like shooting an arrow in the dark to find out how I could get my foot in the door. Thanks to you and the wonderful course, I've found my way, and now I can even see the results. Maybe for some of you, you feel like that right now. You feel like you're an arrow just shooting into the dark, just trying to figure out how in the world can I do this? I want to do this. I just don't know how. So if that's you, that's okay. We're going to make this really clear for you. Michael said, hey, from Birmingham, Alabama, got in on the course after the webinar, and I've been following the podcast for a while. I'm so glad I invested in this course. I just dove in, and it's awesome so far. I'm looking forward to growing and finding my voice with y'all, and hopefully I can contribute and help many of you along the way. Thank you. So let's talk about more about the other bonuses that you're going to get. So again, that first bonus, you're going to get 3 months of unlimited email consulting with our coaches. All right. So again, if you get stuck, if you have a question, you can email us directly. Stop wondering like, okay, what do I do now? Or let's say that you're talking with a potential client and you're not really sure what to do or how to respond. You can contact us directly. We will get back with you. We're kind of like the puppet that just tells you exactly what to say. All right. So you can email us directly and get the support that you need. You're also going to get, again, those email scripts, contracts, checklists, the BPS vault, every document we use in our business that will help you to book more business, stay more organized, and eliminate stress. So all the email scripts for reaching out to potential clients, our follow-up flow chart, our speaking agreement, our event information form, our speaking writer, our event checklist, you're going to get all of them. We're giving you all of those to download and to use as your own. The third bonus, again, is those advanced training modules. Like I said, we've interviewed industry experts to teach you how to create an online course, write and publish your book, build an email list, and much, much more. So we've interviewed Joseph Michael on how to turn your talk into an online course, or how to write your first book, how to self-publish your book, get it into the world, why and how speakers should build an email list, how to email potential clients without being annoying, and how to find more speaking engagements. We give you all of these bonus advanced training modules. And then the fourth bonus here is, again, speaker success stories. We're going to let you hear from new veteran speakers, how they got started, how they find gigs, and how they are building their business today. So why should you invest in Booked and Paid to Speak 2.0 today? One, you can stop wondering if you have what it takes. We're going to give you the resources. You have the potential. Now you need the plan. We have that plan, and we want to help you to be successful. We want to help you to spread your message into the world. Because remember, like I said at the beginning, your message should be shared. We believe that your message deserves to be shared. Number 2, remember you got that 30-day money back guarantee. You have zero risk. All of the risk is on us. We have to do what we've promised here. Number 3 is we're again going to give you that double your investment guarantee, meaning you got a full year to go through the resources, the materials. If after 1 year you decide this isn't for you for whatever reason, let us know. And if you haven't at least doubled your investment, let us know and we will refund your money. Again, we know this works if you do the work. Number 4 is you're going to have lifetime access to all of the course materials. And then number 5, those webinar bonuses are disappearing in just a few minutes. All right. So those are going to be going away. One of my favorite quotes is this: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. How long are you going to wonder if you have what it takes? How long are you going to feel like, all right, this is my year. This is my time. This is my moment. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that speaking dream I've had for so long. I'm finally going to go after it. How long are you going to keep saying that before you actually take action? Remember what I asked you earlier. Are you going to be a dabbler or an action taker? Are you going to be a dabbler or an action taker? Now, some of you may be going, okay, Grant, I'm interested, but what if I don't have the money, right? Totally get that. Recognize, though, there's a huge difference between spending money and investing money. Spending money and investing money. When you spend money, there's no ROI. There's no return on that investment. That money is gone. When you put money into furniture or clothes or a new car or vacations, okay, all that stuff is well and good, but it's gone. You're not getting anything out of that. Versus when you invest money, there is an ROI. There is a return on that investment. You get money back plus more. So when you invest in real estate, your retirement, education, knowledge, training that you apply, you're going to get a return on that investment. I like putting money into things where I get the money back plus more. I don't like putting money into things that I'm just spending money. I want to invest money. And that's exactly what Booked and Paid to Speak is. Like what I mentioned to you, when you invest in Booked and Paid to Speak, you earn that money back on your very first gig. Several of you pointed out in the chat what your speaking fee would be for 1 gig. And I think for everybody that I saw, it was more than what the investment of Booked and Paid to Speak would be. So how to join? Again, you can click the link on the right or go to thespeakerlab.com/offer. Speakerlab.com/offer. I see that the clock is nearing 0, so make sure that you jump in quickly here. Once you go to thespeakerlab.com/offer, you'll be taken to a page that looks pretty much like this. Like I mentioned to you earlier, if you want to know how to structure and deliver better talks and presentations, then we've put together this separate training called The Art of Speaking. And so if you are interested in that, typically we offer that on our site for $397, but you can actually save $200 when you add it to your BPS order. You can get it for just $197. Again, totally optional, but if you want help on creating and delivering your talk as well, then that's why we put together The Art of Speaking. So you can just click that box as you're checking out there, and it'll be added. And as soon as you join, you'll be taken to your login page to register and get everything squared away. And Art of Speaking will be there waiting for you as well. Bethany said, I've learned more during one module of Grant's course than I have after booking my own speaking engagements for the past 3 years. Look at this one from TJ. He said, your email process greatly helped me. I booked 2 gigs, have a possible third. I'm being paid $3,500 and $700 for those 2. Look at that, over $4,000 for his first 2 gigs. Gail said, since joining the course 2 months ago, I booked 3 engagements totaling $1,750. And then look at the bottom there. Said, yikes, I quit my corporate job to coach, speak, and write full time. 5 years of coaching, speaking and coaching occasionally. Now it's time to take it to the next level. Full of excitement and fear, but I have to give it a shot. No regrets. Very cool. Very cool. Michael says Grant's knowledge about the speaking industry is unmatched. His coaching has more than paid for itself within 2 months. Again, like I mentioned, I know there's a huge ROI with speaking. And so if you apply what we teach, you're going to see a huge ROI and you're going to see it very quickly. Christopher says, boom, booked in for a Mexico sales conference, sold 200 books for the event. Thanks, Grant. The course is paying off huge. My mindset, confidence, and attitude are exploding. So this could be you. This should be you up there on stage. Like I mentioned, there are people that need your message. Now, we're going to wrap up with this, and then we're going to do some Q&A. There's a reason that you showed up here today. All right, maybe for you, you're tired of trying to figure out the speaking business on your own. You've been trying this for months, maybe even years of just like stumbling. Remember, like Rima said, that she felt like an arrow, shooting an arrow in the dark, trying to figure this out on her own. Maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe that's why you're here. For you, you want to spend more time actually speaking and less time wondering how to crack some mysterious code. And that's why you're here. We're going to, for you, we're going to crack that code. We're going to tell you exactly what to do. We're going to give you a step-by-step plan plus the support and community that you need to be successful. Maybe for you, you're here because deep down, you know you have the ability to become a professional speaker that can finally create more impact and income. You know you have what it takes. You just don't know what to do next. And so that's what we're going to provide for you with Booked and Paid to Speak. Here's what I know. Is speaking is an industry that's been around for literally years and years and years. And it's an industry that's going to continue to be around. And you have so much opportunity to make a difference. You have so much opportunity to make an impact with your message. You also have a great opportunity for you to provide a tremendous life for yourself, for your family, and to create the type of life with the type of time, money, and freedom that you desire. I know you have what it takes, and now you need the plan. So you have three choices. One, you can hire me as a coach, which is really, really, really expensive. Two, you can spend years struggling to figure it out on your own, which again, maybe that's what you've already done. Or three, you can join Booked and Paid to Speak to get a step-by-step system and stop wondering what to do next. Do you even have time to figure it out on your own? You're busy. You have a lot going on. You have family. You have work. You have all this stuff. And so what we want to do is, again, you have the potential. Now you need the plan. I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to be the dabbler or the action taker? Are you going to be the dabbler or the action taker? All right. Are you ready for Q&A? So again, if you're ready, just put your questions in the box and we're going to get to that. There's a recap here of everything you're going to get. The Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, 3 months of private discussion group and Q&A calls, the 3 months of unlimited email consulting, the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault, the 12 advanced training modules, 12 speaker success stories. And then again, for those who join while we're on this training, we're going to give you a one-on-one coaching call with our Speaker Lab coach. We're going to give you a website demo video review, the director's cut keynote video, and then that WordPress theme, the website template. Again, this is only for people who pay in full. You will get that WordPress theme, that website template. All right. Whew, let's get into some Q&A. All right, I know we've covered a lot here, but I want to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure you are successful, that you have exactly what you need. So again, there, look at your screen. Got a total value there of over $7,600. The webinar special, we're knocking down an additional $500 from $1,497 down to one payment of $997. Or again, you can do the $197 a month for 6 months. You can also do PayPal if you would prefer that as well. All right, so remember, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. That 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee, the double your investment guarantee. We want to do everything we can to make sure you are successful. All right, so click the link on the right side there, or go to thespeakerlab.com/offer. All right, all right. Listen, a lot of you have already taken action, and I'm proud of you. Some of you, you're on the fence right now. If you're on the fence, I want you to take action. I want you to get off the fence, and I want you to move forward on this. Let's get after it. Let's get ready to get booked and paid to speak, my friend. All right, once again, if you've got other questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat, and we want to get to as many of those as possible. I know a lot of you have already joined Booked and Paid to Speak. Let me pull this up here. We'll give some shout-outs to those who have already joined. So we have Thomas and Ryan and Stephanie. And let's see here. Stephen, Jacqueline, Robert, Sonia, Ray, Tangela, Michael. Welcome to all of you. Excited to connect with you. Again, looking forward to working with you on the inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. So again, if you have other questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. I know that the timer has struck 0. We're going to wait just another couple minutes or so and try to get to as many other questions as possible, that we make sure that we help you guys out however we can. So again, go ahead and drop those in the chat, and we'll get to those. Looks like Vanessa has joined as well, so welcome to you, Vanessa. Looking forward to connecting with you on the inside as well. All right, question from Alexis asks, where's the link for the webinar slides given today? You can go to thespeakerlab.com/BPS download, thespeakerlab.com/BPS download. I'll throw that in the chat for you there. What else? What other questions can we answer for you? And if you got questions about anything that we covered today, if you have any questions about Booked and Paid to Speak or what we've covered here tonight and the opportunity to join Booked and Paid to Speak, now is the time to ask. So go ahead and again fire away with whatever questions we can answer for you. I know a couple of people had asked about time investment and time commitment for something like this. Booked and Paid to Speak is a go at your own pace course. So this is not something that you have to be done by a certain time. Again, you have lifetime access to go through the course and the training materials, so you can go through it at your own pace. Now, in terms of how much time you should allocate, we would recommend 5 hours a week. And for some of you that may not seem like much, for some of you that may seem like a lot. I mean, we're talking, maybe getting up 30 minutes earlier, staying up a little later, or spending an hour or two on the weekend working on it. Again, we're not talking about you have to sit down and spend 5 hours at a time, but just little blocks of time here and there working on your business and taking ownership for the results that you want to see in your business. So in terms of how much time you should be allocating, we would recommend 5 hours a week. But the reality is that the more time you put in, the quicker you'll see results. So like a way I like to think about it is, if I were to ask you, how long does it take to lose 5 pounds? Well, for some people, it may take, a week or so, maybe a couple days. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but if you really got after it. And whereas for some people, in order to lose 5 pounds, maybe it would take them a couple months, so it really just depends on how quickly you're taking action. Really often dictates and determines how quickly you're going to be seeing results. All right, so here's a question that came in. Let me pull this up. I've been speaking for free or during work. Would these be useful experiences to increase my ask? Yeah, I think it could be, depending on what the topic is and depending on the audience that you've been speaking to. The good thing, though, is the opportunities that you have to speak, it helps you to become better. The way that you become a better speaker is that you actually speak. The way that you become a better writer is that you write. The way that you become pretty much better at anything is that you practice that thing, that craft. And so if you've had some opportunities to speak, then generally that will help you to become a better speaker, which hopefully will translate to you being able to charge more as a speaker. So good question there. What else? What other questions do you have that we can answer for you? What can we answer for you? How can we best help you? All right, let me ask you this. I see that it looks like a bunch of people are still hanging out here. A bunch of people are still joining us. So some of you, maybe you're just on the fence right now. You're intrigued. You're hanging out. You're going back and forth. Should I do this? Should I not? So I'm curious, if you would say you are someone that is on the fence right now, would you just type that in the chat? Just type in "on the fence." Just type in "on the fence." And if you are someone who is on the fence and you type that in the chat, would you mind just sharing with me why you are on the fence? What is it that you're wondering about? What is it that you have questions about? What is it that you're concerned about? What is it that you have doubts about? How can we best help you? How can we answer those questions for you? Again, just put in the chat there, "on the fence," and maybe just put in what your questions are, what your concerns are, what your doubts are, what's keeping you from making a decision. And ultimately, that's what I would ask you to do, is just make a decision one way or the other. So if you would say, "Hey, this is for me. I want to do this. I'm serious. I'm moving forward. I want to take action. I want to join Booked and Paid to Speak," then awesome. We would absolutely love for you to do so, and obviously welcome you into the program and the community. But if you'd say, "You know what, I've made a decision and I decided it's not for me at this time for whatever reason," okay, that's fine. Totally get that. Totally respect that. But what I want you to do ultimately is I want you to make a decision. I don't want you to be stuck on the fence. I don't want you to be leaving at the end of our time here in just a couple minutes and be thinking, "Well, I woulda, shoulda, coulda, missed out." I don't want you to do that. I want you to make a decision. See the comment there, "not on the fence, but can pay for the course right now due to financial constraint. Can you reduce the monthly payment?" Right now, the $197 a month for 6 months is what we would currently offer. But actually, tell you what, if you email in support@thespeakerlab.com, support@thespeakerlab.com, we might be able to offer a different payment plan. We'll see. So feel free to email in though. Jenny says on the fence because of costs. Totally understand that. Let me ask you this: what's the concern with the costs in terms um, of did you have a chance to do that speaking fee calculator? Did you see the potential ROI for you? You see how many gigs you would have to book in order for it to be worth your while? I showed you several examples of speakers who are just normal, everyday, average people. They don't have some crazy story. They don't have some special power that you don't have. They just have a cool. They just have a plan that they have taken action on, and they've seen a huge return on their investment, and they see it very quickly. And so we know this works if you do the work. And I think that's important to note for everybody. Is this that just investing in a program is a great first step, but it's just the first step. You have to go beyond that. You have to continually take action on what it is you're learning, what it is that you're gaining. You can't just you can't just invest in something just to invest in something. You have to take action on it. So we know this works if you do the work, and so that's why we offer these different guarantees. The 30-day money back guarantee. We know it works if you do the work, but if you do the work and you find you don't get results, or we haven't lived up to our end of the bargain, you can get a complete refund. So you've got that for you. You also have the double your investment guarantee. So you can, meaning that if you go through the materials and you don't at least double your investment within 1 year, we will refund your investment. So again, we know this works if you do the work. All right. What other questions do you have? What else can we help you with here? Is there a referral offer for getting others to participate in your training? Currently, we don't have any referral program. But good question there. Ken says, want this. I want to do the work. Just not sure if I can right now. Totally understand that. I know for some people that timing is, always going to be a challenge. A couple questions I would ask you, and things I would encourage you to think about is, what that quote I showed you earlier, when's the best time to plant a tree? The other questions I would say would be like, when's a good time to start a family? When's a good time to start a business? When's a good time to have kids? When's a good time to make a job transition? When's a good time to move? There's never a perfect time. So there's always going to be other things that are happening in life. So what would it take for you to be a spot where you felt like, okay, I'm actually going to take action on this. I'm actually going to stop wondering if I have what it takes. I'm actually going to move forward on this. I'm actually going to do something with it. The other thing I would say to you, Ken, is that remember you have lifetime access to the materials. So you don't have to wait for, it's not like you have a certain period of time to go through everything. You have lifetime access. So we've had a lot of people actually, in fact, we got an email, I think yesterday or today, from someone who said, hey, I joined like a year ago and I want to jump back into the program. I can't find my login. Do I still have access? Yeah, absolutely. You totally do. So you can totally do that of jumping back in, kind of coming and going whenever it makes sense for you. And so just know that we've had a lot of people who's like, I just don't want to miss out on this offer and this opportunity and these fast action bonuses that are going away in just a couple minutes. So therefore, I want to go ahead and get in on this. And that means maybe I'm going to have to come back to it in a couple of weeks or in another month or so. So that's totally fine. You can totally do that. Thomas says, how long before we get the training info? Once you join, you should get it immediately. You will be, because remember, everything is online, everything is digital. You will be sent a register or a link basically to register and create your login information. And so you'll be able to jump right in. I mean, you could literally start watching the training videos tonight if you wanted to. We've had some people who have just like Netflix binge watch everything, and they'll go through all the training materials over the course of a weekend. So you could certainly do that. So you don't have to wait for us to ship you anything. You can literally jump right in. All right. Well, tell you what, if there are no other questions, let's go ahead and wrap up here. Let's go over everything one more time before we wrap up here. So remember, what you're going to be getting is the Booked and Paid to Speak 2.0 video training program. Again, this is kind of the the core of this offer, and the core of the program you're going to be getting is this step-by-step training system on exactly how to find and book paid speaking engagements. So whether you're a brand new speaker with no clue what you want to speak on or who you want to speak to, you just want to speak, or you're someone who you're doing some speaking, you just want to find more engagements, better engagements, you want to charge more, okay, this is for you. We're going to walk you through step by step of exactly what to do. You're also going to get 3 months of private discussion group and the Q&A calls. So this is where, again, we've got a private Facebook group. We have a monthly Q&A calls. In fact, for December, our monthly Q&A call is going to be on Wednesday. So in fact, anybody who joins, today while we're on this live training, you'll be able to join our Q&A session on Wednesday. So you don't want to miss out on that. The 4 bonuses here you're going to get is the 3 months of unlimited email consulting. So anytime you got questions, you can reach out to us and our team will get back with you. Any type of specific question we can answer for you. You've got a direct line to us. You're also going to get the BPS Vault, all of our email scripts, contracts, checklists, every document we use in our business. You're going to get, also going to give you 12 advanced training modules. So people who are sharing strategies and tactics on building a course, on building an email list, on building your business beyond the stage, and even just some advanced strategies we're going to be getting into in those interviews. And then 12 speaker success stories that you can go through and learn from other speakers who have gone before you and can share some of the strategies and things that have worked for them. Now, these next 4 bonuses, again, are only going to be for people who join while we are live on this training, right? So I'm going to give you about 5 more minutes till about quarter past the, or quarter till the hour, top of the hour there. So I've got about 8:40 Central Time. So about 5 more minutes. At 8:45, we'll cut this off. But for these fast action bonuses, first of all, you're going to get a one-on-one coaching call with a Speaker Lab coach. So if a one-on-one video call, we're able to answer any questions you've got and help you out however we can. You've also got a website demo video review where we're going to go through and give you specific feedback on your site, your demo video, and how you can best improve those. You're also going to get a director's cut keynote video. This is kind of a behind the scenes look at my own personal keynote, one of the ones that I presented, so you can get a sense of how I present and get some ideas and strategies that you can apply as well. And then finally, again, this is only for those who pay in full. You're going to get our WordPress theme or website template called Podium. Again, we offer this for $197 on our site, but we're going to include this for free, again, for those who pay in full. All right. So total value there is over $7,600. You got both of those guarantees. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. We took all of the risk away from you. All of the risk is on us. So normally, like I mentioned, this is normally $14.97 on our site, but we're taking off an additional $500. You can get it for $9.97, or you can do $197 a month for 6 months. All right. So you can go to the speakerlab.com/offer, or you can click the link to the right there where it says click here to register, and that'll take you right to the registration page. All right. So if you have questions, if there's something that we haven't covered or discussed, feel free to email us, support@thespeakerlab.com. Again, that is support@thespeakerlab.com. All right. Before we wrap up, one other question that just came in here. Feeling apprehensive about charging nonprofits. What are the thoughts on overcoming that? That's a great question. I've done a lot of speaking with nonprofits, and sometimes I may do it for a lower rate, or sometimes I may do it for my full fee. The reality is that nonprofits, they still have funds. They still have budgets. A lot of times nonprofits have funding from the government, or they have funding from some type of outside source that is designated for like a speaker or a training or some type of specific event. I've had a lot of nonprofits that have hired me by applying for and receiving some type of grant, which works really well, a grant for grant. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily have any apprehension on that. So it may be most nonprofits, because they tend to be on a tighter budget, they may have lower budgets, but they do still have funds to bring in speakers. There's a lot of speakers that work with nonprofits, so that's absolutely reasonable. Vanessa, I see your question. Can I still pay in full to get Podium? Yeah. I think you had already joined doing the monthly payment plan, but if you want, feel free to email support@thespeakerlab.com, support@thespeakerlab.com, and let them know you'd like to just switch from the payment plan to the full pay in order to get Podium, and they can get you a link and get you squared away on that. So good question. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, again, thank you so much for everyone for hanging out with us and being with us. I know that you're busy. I know that you have a lot going on. And again, we'll give you just another minute or so for those of you that are still joining, and looking forward to working with you and connecting with you on the inside of Book to Pay to Speak. Again, if you have other questions, please feel free to email us, support@thespeakerlab.com. Again, support@thespeakerlab.com. We'll talk to you soon. You're awesome.